Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So tonight, let's talk about Bitcoin ahead of a big CPI data read that will be coming tomorrow. But also, let's talk about the real reason why BUSD, Binance's stablecoin, was killed off. And BlackRock is behind it, but I'm going to tie it all together tonight. So let's do this. Welcome, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing good. You know what? Right now, futures market for tomorrow is red, a little bit even. Today actually was a pretty good day, surprisingly, because tomorrow is going to be the big inflation data read. The next CPI comes out. But there are a lot of people anticipating that tomorrow we could get a bad reading. And that's because all the previous ones reported back in 2020 were adjusted recently. In fact, after adjustment, some of the negatives that we have seen turned positive. So this has a lot of people spooked, like, okay, how could you just go back and adjust all the previous inflation readings like after the fact, right? And if so, does that mean that inflation was actually much higher than what was reported? And many people will say yes. So because of this revision that comes right before tomorrow's reading, people are freaking out over tomorrow, thinking, well, tomorrow could be bad. It could be adjusted upwards. We don't know. We'll see. It's anticipated to be CPI to head to 6.2%, which should still be a drop overall, going from 6.5 to 6.2. But many people feel like, well, maybe it'll come in higher at 6.3, 6.4, whatever it may be, right? So that's the thing. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Right before I stream, we will get another reading. If it comes in according to expectations or below, meaning that inflation dropped even more, well, then we will have a terrific rally tomorrow. But if we do get inflation that is now creeping back up again, right, because of all the adjustments, well, that would be absolutely horrible tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see which one it is. I don't know. I don't think it's time to be panicking yet. I feel like too many people are panicking over tomorrow. I have a feeling it's just going to be like right at expectations. That's how I'm thinking it. I don't think things have gotten much worse, although these adjustments are kind of weird, how you could just do all these adjustments after the fact and say, oops, those readings were wrong. Doesn't make quite a lot of sense. Okay, now on to alien news. We had four UFOs that were shot down recently, and no one could explain it. No one can explain the origins, what they're doing. No one knows. Okay, but the White House said today there's no indications of aliens or extraterrestrial activity, even though they have not fully denied it either. They just said, well, right now there's no indication. That does not mean there were no aliens. Just to throw that out there. It seems very suspicious that we're getting all these UFOs all of a sudden, and these are not low altitude, very high altitude. It takes a lot to get a UFO to be up there that high and then get shot down, basically. So hopefully we don't get more, but it's just really weird that we're getting all these alien sightings and they're all being shot down recently, right? But I guess we'll see. All right, now moving on. Let's first talk about what's going on with BUSD, with BlackRock and Circle and the SEC. I'm going to tie it all together, okay, before I get to Bitcoin. So what exactly happened? I think you guys know that this morning that it was reported that the SEC and the New York Department of Financial Services both went after Paxos, okay? And Paxos is the issuer of BUSD. And they said, no, okay, we're not going to mint any more BUSD. Basically, it's being phased out, right? And a lot of people got scared over that, caused a little more FUD. Now it turns out, who told the New York District Financial Services to go after Paxos? Well, none other than Circle. Circle, who is the company, keep in mind, Circle and Coinbase, they are the companies behind a competitor, USDC. And guess what? They're the ones that went and said, hey, you better go look at them because we don't believe BUSD was fully backed. Okay? So, if you think about it, this makes a whole lot of sense. And I'm going to combine it even more to make even more sense, but they're the ones that pointed fingers at Paxos. Now, you could say, well, if this is the case, if BUSD wasn't fully backed, then yeah, they have a case, right? But the thing is, Paxos has always been one-to-one backed. In fact, they were one-to-one backed even before USDC became one-to-one backed. Paxos actually led this campaign saying that, yeah, we're fully backed, but not others. And Paxos can prove through auditing that BUSD was fully backed. So this was kind of like just, I don't know, just like a ruse, really, for Circle to kind of pinpoint one of the regulators at Paxos. And after that, guess what? Because New York District Financial Services started looking into Paxos, then the SEC, then Gary's like, okay, I'm going to jump in, right? And even that is not a coincidence, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, of course, there's a ton of withdrawals right now, right? A lot of people confused, not knowing what to believe. Is Binance really evil? Do they really not have it backed? What's going on with BUSD? Are they just going to take everyone's money? The answer to all these questions are no. No. Okay? BUSD will still be around for quite some time, but obviously a lot of people are switching to USDC and USDT at this point. A lot of people withdrawing, right? But it will be supported for quite some time. It's just that Paxos is not going to be minting anymore. Okay? So that's the thing. But guess what? Who is Circle backed by? Yes, BlackRock. Okay? BlackRock seems to be into everything. BlackRock is also an investor into Coinbase, and they formed a recent partnership too. Okay, so not only is BlackRock in bed with Coinbase, but they're also in bed with Circle in a big way, in a huge way. Okay, so makes sense so far, right? And then you got to go a little bit deeper than that, right? So why does BlackRock want to get rid of the competition? Well, it's because of this. BlackRock is about to come out with a new fund that will be backed by USDC. This is a fully regulated, according to the SEC, fully backed by and approved by the SEC, right? And this will be a new fund that would actually place a ton of USDC into BlackRock reserves, and they will be holding it. Right? So do you see the connection here? So BlackRock essentially told Circle, hey, go spread some FUD. Let's see if we can knock down our competition. And then they told the SEC, like, hey, maybe you should go look into them too because we have a product that you already endorsed, right? And there you go. So this is what really happened. It's because BlackRock, Circle, and Coinbase is all kind of like in on this. They're all into this right now. And this could also be the reason why, recently, SEC went after Kraken, right, about staking. This could also be the reason why the SEC didn't actually go after Coinbase because of the BlackRock ties. So that's what it really comes down to, is eliminating the competition. So in the US, there's really only one, USDC. That's it, right? And if BlackRock basically is invested in USDC, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to stay around. And they basically got rid of BUSD, which is their biggest competitor. And the next one is USDT, Tether. And they already are under a lot of scrutiny, so they may be going soon too. Right? Now it's starting to make sense. Now it's starting to add up, right? So that's kind of, I think, what happened because of this new product, new fund, and because Circle has their own, and Coinbase has their own. They're more than willing to spread some FUD to get rid of competition, and now they basically rang free in the U.S. market. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Now, what is Binance going to do? I saw from CZ, he says he's not going to give up on stablecoins. In fact, he's going to try to look at one or try to create one or work with some other company to come up one that's not backed by USD, that's backed by some other currency, right? So we'll see if that works, if he's just talking because he's really mad right now or what. I don't know what he's going to be doing, but that's the reality. But as for the exchanges, they are still okay. I think they have to switch back to USDC and USDT because Binance.com made a big push to get rid of all these other stablecoins in favor of BUSD, and now they have to do the reverse and get them back, right? And as for Binance.US, they already support all of them, so it's not really a big shift. So, yeah, unfortunately, you know, that's the thing. That's the thing. All these companies, you know, if you actually, I'm glad, you know, some of these reporters are kind of like finding bits and pieces, and then you put it all together. You know, there's like motives behind everything, right? And as much as we like to hate Gary Gensler for trying to just, you know, dominate the crypto market, right? Even Gensler's strings are pulled by bigger players like BlackRock, essentially. You're never going to see Gary go after BlackRock. That's not going to happen. So, there you go. All right, now on to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, right? So, of course, I mentioned about the CPI data. People are wondering, hey, a lot of FUD recently. Besides tomorrow's CPI data read, we got stable coins, which is under attack, right? And then we have staking under attack. You know, just a lot of FUD out there, right? But you know what? Is this worse than when FTX collapsed? Is it worse than Celsius and Voyager and everyone else collapsing? I don't know. The market's reaction is no. That's for sure. The market's reaction is like, yeah, okay. You know, it's bad, but we'll get through it. And that's the right mindset because holders does not care. Holders will continue to hodl because, you know what? Bitcoin is not going to go anywhere, right? Bitcoin is recovering. It's on its way up. And despite volatility, despite macro conditions, despite you got a lot of bad actors, and you have a lot of manipulation, and you have Gary Gensler thrown in there, well, we're going to continue forward. That's just how it is. And even Wells Fargo, they didn't say this is good about crypto, but even they said the bear market is over. We're not in a bull market. We're not in a bear market. We're just in a market, which we could stay at for a while. We could just stay neutral for a while. Okay, so we'll take that. We're not in a bear market. We're recovering. And if tomorrow's CPI data read is good, well then, for sure, then we will, you know, continue forward. And maybe the bull market will come a little bit sooner, right? But we are definitely in recovery mode. And as for Bitcoin, there's just a lot of goodness. There's so many goodness. This is just hash rate. A lot of you guys don't care about the hash rate, but the hash rate just shows you how strong the conviction is from the miners. I mean, the miners just continue to mine away. Besides that big dip you see in the middle of the screen, that's when China was, you know, pushing out the miners. Besides that, all the other dips came and went really quickly. And again, the hash rate is at an all-time high because the miners continue to mine away. And guess what? They're keeping all the Bitcoin they mine. None of that new Bitcoin found in those blocks are being released. They're being held. So essentially, everyone is fighting for the exchange's reserves right now, which is like around 2 million Bitcoins, right? But that's going to keep dropping because these miners just continue to hoard away everything new that they have. Entity supply distribution basically showing you, yes, even though Bitcoin's price has been going down, the accumulation for people that have 0.001 Bitcoin, 0.01 Bitcoin, 1.1 Bitcoin, 1 to 10 Bitcoin have all been rising significantly as holders continue to hodl and DCA. That's what you want to see. Here's one, non-zero balance at an all-time high, over 40 something million addresses with non-zero balance, and it continues to go up. Here's one above 1, also pretty much at all-time high, right? It slowed down a little bit recently, but still on its way up, right? These are all great things. This is why it's good to have patience. It's good to be forward-thinking. It's good to be paying attention to what's going on around the world, the macro conditions, right? And it's good to ignore the FUD. And there's much of it. But if you could do these things, you will win at the game of crypto. It's really that simple. All right, last few things. You know, speaking of AI and stablecoins. Actually, I didn't say anything about AI today, but I just thought I'd bring that up because stablecoin maker DAO Maker jumps 15% as it dives into AI space. I told you guys this because AI is so hot. Every single project is going to use that buzzword AI and try to make themselves look better than they are, right? MakerDAO has no business to be in AI, but they are integrating something called IGU verse, and somehow it's something for crowdfunding using AI to select like who to allow to crowdfund or something like that. It's some weird thing that doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even fit in their business model, but they're jumping into it, and that's why they actually pumped today. So, they also did integrate with Chainlink, so that's also pretty good. Anything that integrates with Chainlink is a good thing. It's a good idea because now the dApps and stablecoins and DEXs and everyone else that is going to be utilizing DAI, for example, right? They will be better for it because now they have that Oracle network that can fetch and retrieve data in real time, and you need that. You need that to happen. So that's good. That's good. But about the AI play, they're just trying to jump into the space because it's hot right now. All right. Outside of that, hey, we're above 1 trillion again. This morning I was a little disappointed we were below 1 trillion. We're above 1 trillion once again. That is very positive, very encouraging. So we'll take it. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Bad news, good news, no news. No, there's going to be news. We'll see if it's good or bad. All right, let's do some Q&A. Brock says, BlackRock is the biggest fraudulent financial L-wing trying to manipulate the market. Well, we know that for sure. It just seems like it's so weird that you don't ever hear anyone attack BlackRock or go after BlackRock. They're like beyond reach, right? We heard stories about them buying up the real estate market, right? Buying whole neighborhoods and stuff like that. We hear about them manipulating the market quite a lot, buying assets. They're the largest asset manager and probably the largest asset owner too. They're definitely in. They have their fingers in crypto now too. And I've always said I don't know if that's a good thing, but one I guess good thing that will come from it is they will bring a massive amount of money into this space. That's for sure. But do we want them to be controlling things? No. But I think what happened with BUSD today was part of that influence. But yeah. All right. Gary's an alien. They came to take him home. I hope so. I really wish that was the case. I think anyone that replaces Gary Gensler will be good. I don't see what he's doing. All right. Still scrolling. Still scrolling. Scrolling. You should make your show available on Spotify. I mean, you know, I've been thinking about that. I used to do it. I used to use the software to automatically translate my video into like a podcast, but that software stopped working. I never tried to figure it out again. I may do it again. I know a lot of people have requested that in the past because they listen to me while they're driving and stuff, and it's just easier. I'll look into it. I'll look into it. There's a secret society behind BlackRock. Did you see Peter Schiff on Pomp today? Guy hates BTC. I don't think that's a surprise. I think the two have good chemistry. Peter and Pomp, they do have good chemistry, but you're not going to change. You're not going to change. You're not going to change Peter Schiff's mind. I mean, he's set. That's his like stick, right? Like he's a Bitcoin hater. He can't change that. So yeah, that's not a surprise. I never thought I wish for the days where we just hated Jay Clayton. Yeah. You know, I still remember I wasn't paying attention to macro stuff or regulation stuff as much as I am now, but I remember Jay Clayton, the only thing people hated him for was not approving Bitcoin ETF. That's it. He didn't attack anything. He didn't attack any crypto projects really, other than the ones that were really scammy. Yes, he did. I remember a few, but he didn't attack, you know, staking or stable coins or, I don't know, Ripple or even Ethereum, right? I mean, Gary's trying to just like attack everything that exists. Pretty soon he'll probably attack wallets. He'll attack, I don't know. What else is there? Maybe he'll attack the Lightning Network. Who knows? Like, he's just out of control at this point. Crypto Grady, are you the one that sent me the email about the DeFi Kingdoms a few weeks ago? But yeah, I heard DeFi Kingdoms applied. Several other projects applied that I can't talk about, but there are a lot of major projects that have applied. Originally, I thought it would be like a lot of unknown projects. And I think there were a lot of unknown projects that applied, but you got some big, legitimate projects that have applied. So I think it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to it. I know Judd is very excited about it too. Jay did attack Ripple on his last day. I don't think that was him. You know, they already knew. Someone on the inside already knew who the next appointee is, and I think he just like said, whatever. It's my last day. It's not my problem anymore. I think Jay Clayton is actually working at a crypto firm. I remember hearing that he was working as an advisor or even a lawyer for some crypto firm right now. So he's actually advocating for crypto growth and innovation. See, the thing is, right? Like I've been saying this. SEC and Gary, they're very. You got to give them this. They have a strategy, right? Rather than attack Binance, they could have sued Binance to try to get them to stop BUSD, right? But they knew that would be fruitless because that would be a forever lawsuit. So go after someone smaller. Who was minting BUSD for Binance? It was Paxos, a much smaller company. Go after them, right? They will cave, and they were right. They caved. SEC is saying BUSD is a security. It's a stable coin. How could it be a security? That's basically saying dollars is a security. So it doesn't even make sense, right? But it does make sense that SEC is kind of in bed with BlackRock, who's in bed with Circle, who's in, of course, the issuer of USDC, and how they wanted to get rid of competition. That makes sense. But also going after staking, right? Of course, they're not going to go after the big boys. They're going to go after Kraken, someone that they can crack really fast, which they did, right? So Gary's pretty calculated. You got to give him that. He's very calculated. He doesn't want year-long lawsuits or multi-year lawsuits like with Ripple. I think he misjudged that. I think he thought that Ripple would cave really fast, and they didn't. And if Ripple wins that lawsuit, that will be the very first big blow to the SEC. If it was an alien, we would not have the tech to shoot it down. Who knows? Maybe it was a drone. Maybe it was a toy drone from an alien ship. Not alien. I don't think we could just assume all aliens have like shields or something. All right. Maybe it was just like some toy for them, but it's like an advanced spaceship for us. Who knows? If they're going after BUSD, do you think Tether is next? They tried. They tried and failed because Tether has too much money. That's the thing. Like I said, why did they go after Paxos? Because they knew Paxos couldn't fight them in court. They tried to bring down, the New York Department of Financial Services tried to bring down Tether. They sued them. And after many years, they caved. They said, okay, Tether, pay the fine. We'll audit you every quarter. That's it. They couldn't bring them down, right? Because Tether has so much money. In fact, I'll tell you how much money Tether has. I actually have an article that I didn't show you guys, but Tether says they made $700 million of profit in December alone. Not year. In December of 2022, they said they generated $700 million of profit. This is how profitable Tether is and iFinix is. This is the reason why even the New York Financial Department Services could not take them down, because they had the resources. This is the reason why they didn't just go after Binance directly, because Binance will have enough money and resources to fight them. It's probably the same thing they didn't go after Circle, although they may be a little bit, Coinbase, because they may be in bed with Coinbase, but still, the reason why they didn't go after Coinbase is because Coinbase has the resources, right? So that's the thing. Tether, I've never trusted Tether. I don't think anyone should trust Tether. If you have to use a stable coin that's on exchange, just stick with USDC at this point. You really have no choice. I mean, you can't trust Tether. Tether, I don't think they will go under because they're just too big, but they will. So someday something's gonna happen with Tether. Okay, so just don't trust them. USDC, you really have no choice. I've always said I like USDC or BUSD, but BUSD is not an option anymore. Well, it is an option for a while, but it's going to be phased out, so. Who's your favorite influencer in crypto? I would have to say George. I honestly don't pay attention to anyone else, really. You can use Vidly to download audio of your stream, then upload to various platforms. But see, Air to the Ron, I need it to be automated. I'm not going to do that manually. That's just way too much time. If each government is creating their own CBDC backed by their own currency, how is it different from the fiat that we have now? Maybe more convenient for us and complete control for them. That's exactly right. Complete control for them. That's the difference. CBDCs do not replace stablecoins, nor do they replace crypto in any way. It just gives the governments more control. Now they can control everything and see everything, and you have no ability to hide it. You know, if you want privacy, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It started happening in Nigeria already. Nigeria is coming out their own digital dollar, and now they're limiting people from taking their money. They're limiting how much people could withdraw because they don't want people to use their own money to buy other currencies right now. That's why Bitcoin is, you know, like it's being sold being sold with a 30% premium. You know, it's starting to happen around the world already. Uh, 21.8. I think tomorrow's gonna be a good day. I don't know. Binance not having a good day because of all the FUD. But I think tomorrow overall could be a good day. I don't think people, you know, so many people are predicting that tomorrow could be bad all of a sudden. I mean, even with the readjustment, I think tomorrow could be good. So I don't know. I'm going to stick with that. We'll see. By the time I stream, CPI data will be out, and we'll see if I'm right or not. Do you know Willy Woo? I know he creates great charts. That's about it. I never talked to him or anything. Never met the guy. When are you and me, Kevin, going to collaborate again? I don't know. Him and his fancy jet, which I think he regrets buying. Yeah. I mean, we were trying to set something together before, but then he got really busy, and I'm like, whatever. You know, he's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. And I don't think he really talks about crypto anymore. I can't send a super chat in my shadow ban. No, Howard, I could see you, so no. Can you look at liquidity protocol? Didn't you ask that this morning, my man? No, man. Stop asking me to look at something when it's up like 40, 50%, okay? You just want me to pump it more, so no, I'm not going to look at it. That's the problem I have. I love to look at new projects, but 99% of the time someone asks me to look at it because it's pumping. And they either want to know if they should FOMO in, or they want me to help contribute to the pump. And I'm not going to partake in either one of those situations. So ask me when it's down 50%, or ask me when it's not pumping. Claiborne, I used to think I can't, but then when things were hot and I looked at something and I talked about it, and then it just started, you know, it has happened before. So I try not to do that anymore. I cover projects that I think are promising, or the existing projects that I have followed for a while. I'm trying not to dig for new, like, micro caps that could do 1,000x like a lot of people. I know some people are into that. There's plenty of meme coins that does that. But, you know, I like to stay with the bigger, well-known projects who all still have tremendous upsides. Dan, I appreciate it. Is there any educational video I can watch on XRP? That reminds me. I need to dust it off, but I do have the only copy, and I would say the most educational video ever created about Ripple and XRP. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this, but I have it safeguarded, and I don't play very often because it's just too good. It gets people in a frenzy, and you know what? Today may be one of those days where I can just dust it off and play for you guys. If you got fresh eggs and milk delivered, would you support a resurgence of the milkman in your area? Happy Tech, you know what? I think that's a great idea. I mean, although kind of DoorDash kind of solved that problem already, but if it was, you know, barely more expensive than me going to the grocery store to get it, let's say the service charges, I don't know, $5 for a dozen eggs and maybe $5 for a gallon of milk. So a little bit, a few dollars more than extra than normal prices. Yeah, I would do that. In my household, eggs and milk is like gone right away. Am I as bullish as ETH as Raul Paul? No, I don't think that that ETH is going to go to 30,000 in the next bull run, which he thought it would happen in 2021. I just said that's just too bullish. But do I think Ethereum could go a lot higher? Can it go to maybe 10,000, 15,000 by the next top? If they continue to execute and they continue to develop, according to the roadmap, there's a good chance. Are there any benefits for normies with CBDCs? No, there is none. Zero. Everything right now is pretty much digital, but there's still the physical part of it. They just want to get rid of the physical part of it, which makes everything digital, which makes everything trackable, enforceable, confiscatable. I mean, all the bad stuff that you probably don't want, but it's going to happen. So, all right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. Overall, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tune in 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll see how the inflation data comes in. And since so many people asked about it, take a look at this.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.